hold something against them, but because they form the majority of immigrants from West Africa to Ghana. Now, the first question I wanted to know for myself was, and Nigeria, from its West African neighbors, ladies and gentlemen. The numbers are coming in from 4 particular countries: Niger, Ivory Coast, Togo, and Nigeria. And in this video, I want to zoom in on the numbers coming from Nigeria particularly, because not I hold something against them, but because they form the majority of immigrants from West Africa to Ghana. Now, the first question I wanted to know for myself was, what is driving these numbers, ladies and gentlemen? What are the stories behind their movements? And I was very interested in this when I was doing my research. And now I have discovered 3 major reasons why many youths from Nigeria have decided to move out of their country to Ghana. So without further ado, let's get into it. Nigeria as a country is nearly 4 times as big as Ghana, and their population is almost 7 times the population of Ghana's. But in recent years, Nigerians have moved to every corner of Ghana. I mean every corner. From all the way in the Upper East, to the Upper West, to the Savannah, Volta, Western, Ashanti region, and even to Accra. From the very interior villages to the main city centers, Nigerians are found everywhere in Ghana today, ladies and gentlemen. Take, for instance, a town called Zebila, which is in the Upper East region of Ghana. It is a small town which many Ghanaians have no idea where to locate it on a map, but the Nigerians are there. And it's not just their men, but their young women too. So I had to look into why they've decided to move to Ghana in spite of Ghana's limited land size and resources in comparison to theirs. Folks, this is what I found, and it will blow your mind. The third reason will blow your mind, I promise you. Now, reason number 1, electricity availability. This is the most obvious one. But think about it. Everything we do in society from morning to dawn today is one way or the other connected with electricity usage. Charge your phone, watch television, see your way around at night, dressmakers, shops, factories, banks, churches. Everything is connected to the grid, ladies and gentlemen. So the moment lights are taken or the supply is unpredictable, everything is either disorganized or comes to a standstill. I remember some 9 years ago when Ghana was immersed in total darkness. It was a nightmare and unproductive to the core. Nothing worked and life became frustrating, ladies and gentlemen. This made some people leave the country, but not as much numbers as they are leaving Nigeria. Today, Ghana provides a relatively far better, stable electricity supply and access to the entire country, making it attractive to young men and women coming from Nigeria. So, in as much as this is a major reason Nigerians are emigrating, this in itself isn't the core reason. That will be reason number 3. Now, on to the number 2 reason. Reason number 2 is peace and security. I'll be honest with you folks. If I were a Nigerian, I would leave the country by all means necessary for this one reason alone. When kidnapping becomes a regular occurrence and it's not particularly on the number 1 list of problems to solve, or the government wants to solve and the national security apparatus is implicated in it, this becomes a dangerous condition to endure both for the rich and the poor. But unfortunately, that's what is happening there. When religious extremism is common and national security agencies are sitting aloof and the federal government is playing politics with it, ladies and gentlemen, that is a crisis. When you need to hire armed bodyguards and police motorcade as a successful man or woman to make your way around on a daily routine, that is problematic, ladies and gentlemen. When armed robbery is orchestrated with impunity and you don't see practical government plans of shutting it down, you should know you could be in danger at any point in time, whether on the road or at the comfort of your home. This is one of the reasons many Nigerian youth and businessmen are moving to Ghana. Ghana's reputation for political and social stability makes it an appealing haven. Ghana offers a more peaceful environment for families and entrepreneurs alike. And like I said earlier, folks, if I were a Nigerian at this point, I would have left as well, because even when you are successful, this is a sad truth, you can never be comfortable to let your guards down at any point in time, because you don't know what is about to happen. This one reason alone is still not the main reason many Nigerians have relocated to Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the number one reason why they are running to Ghana. Check this one out at number 3. And this is going to be very, very arguable. This is it. Many Nigerian youth have moved to Ghana because of economic reasons. Let me explain. You see, no matter the circumstances in your country, you may continue or choose to continue to live in your country irrespective of even the 2 reasons I've provided above, especially when you are making some good money and you can provide security for yourself and your loved ones. And ladies and gentlemen, when you can also provide your own electricity. But the moment you realize you are young and strong and you have needs and your circumstances aren't changing, but you can make more money living in another country than living in your own country, you naturally, by way of survival, begin to consider moving elsewhere, ladies and gentlemen. Let me cut to the chase with this one. The standard of living in Ghana is higher than the standard of living in Nigeria. This is a fact. But that's also true for the USA. The standard of living in America is higher than the standard of living in Ghana. Meaning, the cost of eating and renting and going about your daily life in America is quite higher than the cost of doing the same things in a country like Ghana. But all the same, Ghanaian youth will do almost anything to get to America in spite of their high cost of living. Why is it so, folks? It's because of the job opportunities America presents and the American currency itself. Same is happening to Nigeria, folks. Ghana is becoming to Nigeria what America is to Ghana. I repeat, Ghana is quickly becoming to Nigeria what America is to Ghana. And that is the 2 key things: a land of opportunities and a country with a higher currency. So even though Nigerians know that living in their own country is less expensive compared to living in Ghana, they will still relocate to Ghana. This is because even though Ghana's currency may not buy much in Ghana, it will buy so much in Nigeria. Let me give you one very clear example. Today in Ghana, many of the Nigerian young men here sell mobile phone accessories on a cart they push around. It's very common. To the local Ghanaian, the profit from that trade is just too small to live on. But the Nigerian guys knows how much the same profit translates in their own currency and the volume of things it can buy in Nigeria. And so they've dominated in that trade everywhere you go in Ghana. The situation is exactly the same case for people from Niger and Togo living in Ghana. The Nigerians have also dominated in the trade of moving around with a pair of nail cutters to cut nails. Artisans in the POP and certain building and construction jobs are dominated by people from Togo. Why? Because even though the profit from it is small to the Ghanaian, or to anyone spending that money in Ghana, the same profit will do more to them in their own countries. So I can therefore emphatically say that Ghana is now the new abroad to Nigeria, to Togo and Niger. If you put your bias aside and the insults and you look at the facts provided, you may come to a similar conclusion. Currently in Ghana, there is not a single town or city without the presence of Nigerian nationals. It's impossible, folks. If you look around and you don't find one, it's because the Nigerian national has lived there so long, he or she has learned to speak our local language and has perfectly assimilated in that community. And this is not to throw shade at Nigerians, but to send a word of message to the government of Nigeria that these three problems, ladies and gentlemen, in their country are non-negotiable. It must be resolved at all costs and by all means necessary, ladies and gentlemen. Nigeria needs peace and security. Nigeria needs stable electricity supply. And Nigeria needs economic improvement, ladies and gentlemen. According to the National Bureau of Statistics in Nigeria, the NBS of Nigeria, in 2022, 63% of Nigerians were multidimensionally poor. The same body in 2023 stated that approximately 46% of Nigerians, equating to about 104 million individuals, were living below the international poverty line of $2.15 per day. So obviously, this is not something I am making up. It is a fact and it's a public knowledge. This is unacceptable for a country that has so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the self-acclaimed giant of Africa seems to be sleeping, and it's even affecting their national men's football team. If indeed they are the giants of Africa, then the sleep time is over. They need to get up and make their changes to their society. They have to change their story. This is the extent I can go with this for now. I'll come your way with another one very soon. Be sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell for more of my videos. God bless you, and may God bless Nigeria in these bad times. It's bye-bye for now.
And in 9 charges leveled against me. This place where I committed this crime was London, United Kingdom. When my lawyers came to see me, I had a discussion with them about how I'm going to defend myself.
They removed it.
I told them that no court in Nigeria has jurisdiction to try me.
They removed that London.
Because since this offense was committed in England, so they said, it's only a UK court that can give a Nigerian court the authority to proceed, isn't it?
Yeah. Based on that, they removed London.
Based on that, they now amended the charge again and removed London.
Location of the
Location of the broadcast. Contrary to section 196,
174 of the Terrorism Prevention Act 2022.
in violation of their own laws. In violation of their own laws. And you want me to stand trial under such circumstances? Is that possible? Nnamdi Kanu to stand trial where these shenanigans are going on? It's not possible.
The persecution against the Igbos. The persecution.
No, let them give them a fresh one, not the ones. No. We have many of that.
Mr. Kanu, last one last question. The one last question. Reference to what she has asked earlier. One of the senior judges at this court.
And I have respect and love for her. She knows.
What if this case comes back to her? Because
it is not possible. It's not possible. This persecution of the Igbo people, this orchestrated, almost global persecution of the people, stops with me. It cannot happen. Very well. It can never happen. That is why we do what we do. That is why I do what I do. I am campaigning for the freedom of my people because of the persecution that we are facing.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yes. The rules change when it comes.
Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says. Section what? As simple as that. Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committed an act of terrorism. Yes. Very clear. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then come to try that very person. Is not done anywhere in the world. So you must be aware of that. So that is why there is all these ridiculous delays. That is what Supreme Court said. I did not jump bail. My home was invaded. They came to kill me and I survived. They came to Kenya to kidnap me, brought me back to this country and seeking to try me, which the law says cannot happen. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then hope to stand on that illegality to conduct a trial is not done anywhere in the world. I'm having in my case. The people stops with me. It cannot happen. It can never happen. That is why we do what we do. That is why I do what I do. I am campaigning for the freedom of my people because of the persecution that we are facing. It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you very much.
So I was actually surprised that a high court have refused to obey or abide by the determination
before Uromi. Now on
And then take the only part that is against him and then refuse to apply the part that is in favor of him.
This cherry picking of what was contained in the Supreme Court judgment is what I'm against.
Yes, that's correct.
It should be implemented holistically.
Yes.
I'm not against taking any trial.
Judgment.
After all, I'm innocent, so they have nothing against me. But there cannot be any trial when key sections of the Constitution and a key Supreme Court judgment has been violated by a court of law.
So you will be patient for the case to go back and come back to the court?
This is my 4th year in solitary confinement in detention. The 5th year will not kill me.
Sorry, what if the case is also reassigned back to her? You still become
It's not going to happen.
No, it won't happen.
It won't happen. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way at all.
Thank you very much.
These are the things that the public must understand. Most of you journalists, the legal correspondents, you don't take time to actually study some of these rulings and judgments. Go and study. In fact, I'll give you...
Bring that envelope. Bring the envelope.
Look at it here. Look at it here. Look at it.
I'll give it to her because I think she's a bit more...
Give her the Sugar judgment.
Can you hold this for me?
She can...
I want to let the whole world understand something. Very, very clear. In all this is the judgment of the Supreme Court. It made it very clear that even that the impartiality of the judge is questionable. And it's here. Where is it? Please do bear with me. It says it here.
I like
what is
it.
the page? What is that again?
I like
there
it.
is,
page 18.
all these things are online. Is it not page 18? All these things are online. So I suggest that the journalists in this country actually take out time to do some basic research. It's not difficult, just minor research. You will understand the virtuousness, the emptiness of all the charges against me. They kept switching the charges. They said I committed this crime in England, isn't it? Yes. I made a broadcast in England.
Yes.
And in 9 charges leveled against me, this place where I committed this crime was London in the United Kingdom.
Yes.
When my lawyers came to see me, I had a discussion with them about how I'm going to defend myself. I told them that no court in Nigeria has jurisdiction to try me. Because since this offense was committed in England, so they said, it's only a UK court that can give a Nigerian court the authority to proceed, isn't it?
Yes. Based on that, they removed London.
Based on that, they now amended the charge again and removed London.
Location of the broadcast.
Location of the broadcast. Contrary to section 1, what is it?
When ordinary men
74 of the Terrorism Prevention Act 2022.
In violation of their own laws. In violation of their own laws. And you want me to stand trial under such circumstances? Is that possible? Nnamdi Kanu to stand trial where these shenanigans are going on? It's not possible. Because the Nigerian people without going to jail and suffering for them is normal. Then my primary concern is to stop insecurity in the South, and it will stop. Once I come out, it will stop. And they know it. So those keeping me in detention are those that are either benefiting or profiting from insecurity. That's all there is to it. Okay? What do you say? I did nothing.
Mazi, good morning.
How are you?
Fine, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How are you doing?
Not very well.
What
There's a lot of
happened?
insecurity back home.
Okay, but health-wise, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm surviving.
You're faring well?
Surviving.
Okay.
Not faring well, just surviving.
So, a quick question. The last time we were in court, you talked about out-of-court settlement. You wouldn't mind. So, has there been any progress towards that regard in terms of talking to the agent?
My lawyers have been a better person to actually tell you that.
But you've been able to meet with them after that particular day?
Have you dealt with this very issue?
No.
Which one?
It has to be.
will not let this one go scot-free.
It has to
Do you
be.
get it? And I'm seeing some people say that, oh, why?
Okay. Okay. No,
We're here for the judicial
what I was
proceedings.
asking is, did they come to visit you after the proceedings the last day?
Absolutely. We're here for the judicial proceedings.
Yes. We're here for the.
We can address the other one.
We'll deal with that later.
And we have written a letter to them that they have not replied.
Okay, no problem.
They've not
Yes,
responded.
they have not responded. I met with Attorney General at
And mind you, the political solution was a solution actually suggested by the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the judgment. And most of you journalists should take time to go through some of these judgments and then come to your own conclusions. Yes. Go through all the rulings and the judgments. You know we have no case to answer at all.